The other side of this, in their ads, I want to ask about a couple specific issues they bring up. There's an ad out there floating around that this commission gets a blank check that the legislature would have to pay for all of this somehow. How do you respond to that?
Well,
we don't know the costs, right?
Yeah. The Ohio Supreme Court has found the blank check allegation false. We've put in there in 3 places that only necessary expenses of the commission would have to be paid for. The legislature retains the power of the purse. So that allegation is and has been proven to be a false one. And it's interesting that, all of the allegations that the No on 2 campaign have been making would be true if they were describing their own conduct, right? The politicians' conduct who drew the awful maps we have now, the political operatives who want to keep these terrible maps that disenfranchise citizens in place, right? Because the reality is that we had a totally unaccountable process the last time around, where maps were drawn in secret in a secret hotel room, the Doubletree Inn, room 601, for which $9,600, almost $10,000 was paid to rent out so nobody could see who was going in and out, where over $200,000 was paid to Republican staffers to draw these maps in secret. I mean, you want to talk about unaccountable, you want to talk about secret money. The process that we had last year is the epitome of an unfair, unaccountable process. The reality is that Issue 2 would restore accountability as well as transparency, because the Citizens Commission, in contrast to what we saw last year from the legislature, would have to do everything out in the open. It would have to be completely transparent in its deliberations and decision-making.
What in this process ensures that the money that they're asking for is appropriate?
The actual language of the initiative is very clear and specific on this point, in saying that only necessary expenses of the commission have to be paid for, and as is the case with any other monies coming from the state treasury, the legislature is responsible for appropriating money, and what they have to approve, and all they have to approve, is necessary expenses. The reality is that this is not a blank check. It only provides for necessary expenses. By contrast, what we saw last time around was effectively the legislature and the reapportionment board writing themselves a blank check.
Something else I've heard is that this will be an unaccountable board. That they don't answer to anybody. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, this is another example of the No on 2 people telling lies. The reality is that these folks would be accountable to the people. We have accountability through transparency. And again, it's worth contrasting what the commission would have to do under Issue 2 with what we saw last time around, where over $200,000 was paid effectively off the books to 2 Republican staffers to draw these maps in a secret hotel room referred to in their own email as the bunker. By contrast, everything that this commission does would have to be out in the open and therefore completely accountable to the people. They've also alleged that this is creating some new bureaucracy. Again, nothing could be further from the truth. This commission would have to be appointed by October 1st of one year and finish its work by October 1st of the following year. It would exist and function for no more than 1 year. These are ordinary citizens who will do their work and then go home. Contrast that with the process we saw last year, controlled by partisan politicians, including John Boehner, from beginning to end, politicians serving their own interests and effectively locking the people of the state of Ohio out. We need to vote yes on 2 to change this system, to stop politicians from rigging the system to their own advantage.